I think back on everything and wonder, is this all there ever was? Wasn't there ever anything more? Was there ever anyone taking care of me? Weren't there any happy memories from long ago? And the voice in my head answers me, no, no, there never was anything more. This is all there ever was. And now, this is all there ever will be. And finally, my shaking hands let go, and I let myself fall. Even with my eyes closed, I can see the water beneath me. I can feel the impact of landing already, even so far away. It's true what they say about your life flashing before your eyes as you're about to die. Not that anyone who's alive can exactly go back and ask anybody. And my mind travels back almost 40 years ago, although to me it's only been a few weeks. And there I am, barely 8 years old, lying on the floor, crying. It's cold and the only light in the room is from the distant street lamps outside. I can barely breathe. It's a strange feeling. At the same time, I'm like someone looking in from the outside, watching myself. But I can also feel everything that I felt that night. The hunger, the pain, the desperate need to use the bathroom. I remember all the horrible places my mind would go on nights like those. And the voice telling me that eventually they'll get fed up and just take me to an orphanage. And they did. And now I remember that day. The angry woman who left me at the gate and didn't look back. The violent screaming and crying and trying to break loose from the older woman holding me, keeping me from running back home. As if that's even the right word for that place. But then, all I could think was that if she would only come back, I'd never complain about being locked away again. Even if there was no bathroom, even if there were no pillows or blankets or food, I just needed to know that she wanted me back. That she wanted me at all. And my mind goes back to random bits and pieces of memories. How I would pretend to run away and hide and wait for her to come look for me, which, of course, she never did. And how I would wake up in the middle of the night having dreamt that she died and bang on her door to see that she was still alive. How I would cry when she was sent to the hospital and everyone would tell me that she was never coming back. All those fears and feelings flood back to me, and I remember thinking, if she's gone, who will take care of me? My mind skips forward to a little time I spent with the old woman. She would lie on the bed all day, not speaking to anyone. That night she would leave and come back hours later smelling like cigarettes and alcohol, angry at the world and everything in it. Usually at that hour she would demand food or water. There were running taps, but for no real reason she would send the kids out to the well in the backyard to get water. Her excuse was the same as it was for everything. Because I said so. It was one of these nights that she returned. When it all happened, I had just gotten her food and she sent me outside. For a second I saw, as I sometimes did, the black ooze dripping from the ceiling. This time it was more than usual. As she yelled at us that the food wasn't enough and how uncomfortable she was, the room seemed flooded, and I quickly ran outside to go get the water. But I never did get that water. Instead, that same voice whispered to me that I've been hearing for so many years. It kept calling me towards the nearby swimming pool. No one was allowed to go in. I don't know how, but that night, the fence that's usually there to keep us out just disappeared. And I heard the old woman calling me from inside the building, and felt torn between the two. But I kept moving closer and closer to the pool, even as I did feel that I should go back. and the water in the pool, which was usually bright blue, was black that night, and I kept hearing the voice coming from inside it. It was just like the black ooze from the ceiling, only this blackness talked. And as soon as I realized that I had made a mistake, there were arms around me like tentacles, pulling me, grabbing at my hair and clothes, and I tried to scream, but my voice refused to come out. And all I knew was that the arms had dragged me down into the dark. It did not hurt. If I never came back from where the voice was, the old lady would be angry about the water. And who would take care of me then? The next time I opened my eyes, I felt like I had slept for a very long time. The world around me was strange, and I didn't understand where I was. A man came in and talked to me. He was dressed in blue. He told me that I was in a coma for a very long time. How long? I asked. Almost 40 years, he told me. But I'm only 8, I told him. I specifically remembered. I had waited to see if anyone knew that it was my birthday, just a few days before. It went by like every other day, screaming and making food for the old lady, and getting water from the well after a day of being ignored and too sad to worry about eating. He gave me a piece of paper with some numbers on it. That's how much I owed the hospital. I told him I didn't have any money. He told me to get a job or go to the unemployment office. What's that? I asked. He got irritated and told me that I was taking up space and needed to go home. I tried explaining to the man that I didn't have anywhere to go, but he wouldn't listen to me. But who will take care of me? He didn't even hear me. I went outside. I passed people in the street as I searched for my old house, and then tried to find the orphanage. No one had any idea what I was talking about when I asked. I realized that the house wasn't really an orphanage, just a place that I was left with a bunch of other kids whose parents didn't want them. I'm supposed to be an adult now, but I don't know anything. I don't know how to get back home. I don't know where or what the unemployment office is. I don't know how to pay the hospital the money that I owe them. I don't even know where I'm supposed to sleep or where to get food or go to the bathroom. Everything is still the same, except now I'm supposed to be taking care of it all myself. These thoughts ran through my head as I was passing a bridge. There were no cars. Everyone seemed to be hiding in their own homes. I remember when I had tried to run away, actually run away and not just hide. The world outside the house had so many people, but now there's barely anyone here. Just a few people in the streets, and that one man on the bridge. He was standing there, looking at the water, and I felt that he was very sad and very serious. Then he jumped off. Now we're back here, and I'm trying really hard in my last few seconds to imagine what life would have been like if I'd been happy, if I had someone taking care of me, if no one yelled at me, if I didn't become an adult overnight. The fall seems to last forever, even though I know it's not that long. But even in all that time, I can't picture a life where I was actually happy. Instead, I just hear the voice calling from the black water beneath me, saying how no one will ever take care of me, and no one ever wanted me. It's really difficult to cry while you're falling through the air, even more so when you actually hit the water, and impossible while you're drifting down into the darkness.